If you are wondering if someone cares for you, then it might be telling you something there, because if you are questioning something, then there might be something there that needs attention. Because oftentimes we don't question things that are clear, we don't question things that are so obvious that it's just so clear how the other person is treating you, and it is so clear what their intentions are. Of course, there could be a lot of the times where you just need to have a conversation with the other person, or there's just misalignment. But if you are constantly wondering about if this person cares for me, then it might be telling you something. It might be telling you that this person might not be showing up for you the way you want them to. Of the times you might find yourself questioning your own self. Am I asking for too much? Am I being too much? These could be important questions. These could be questions that might also tell you something about yourself, that might also tell you about your attachment style. If you want to know if someone genuinely cares for you, there's only one way. It's how they show up for you in the present. It's their actions. It's not how good they are with their words, and it's definitely not what they say and what promises they make about the future. It's in the present, in the now. So, here's a quick story, and this has been such an eye opener, because if you are in a situation, if you are questioning if someone cares for you, it could be a friendship and it could definitely be a situationship for sure. So, the other day, I was talking to a friend and I called her, and she was driving, and I didn't know that she's driving. But when I called her, she picked up, and I just said that I need your help with something. And she was like, yeah, sure, tell me. So, 1 minute into the conversation, I can hear the sound of traffic and cars behind her. Now, I didn't know that she's driving, so I just asked her, by any chance, are you driving? So, she's like, yeah, I'm driving. Then I'm like, okay, I need your help, but it's not that urgent. Just call me when you reach home and we can discuss then. So she was like, okay, I'll call you when I reach home. Now, this incident, two things happened. Number one thing was, the experiences have been so bad regarding relationships, especially situationships, because those are kind of complex and those make you think, like, those kind of really mess you up. So my first thought was, okay, she's not gonna call me back and she's probably gonna forget about this conversation, and maybe I'll have to reach out to her again. And then that kind of gave me a very weird feeling, that feeling when you get when you are just tired of telling someone that you want them to care for you, but they clearly don't. So my first thought was that was stemming from the not so good experiences in the past. She did call me within like a couple of minutes of reaching home maybe, and then she's like, yeah, tell me what's up. And I was so surprised, and that made me realize two things. Number one thing, that I have been so disconnected from my friendships lately and from good connections lately, because I have been pursuing connections that are totally not right for me. During this time, I was like kind of in a situationship, and like when you are in a situationship, you know, if it's not so healthy, then it can be really damaging and it can really make you question your own worth. So one thing I really realized was, okay, maybe I need to see and figure out what kind of connections I'm getting space in my life. The second thing that I realized was, it just felt so easy. I didn't have to beg her multiple times. I didn't have to call her multiple times to be there for me. She was just there. And it's not like we hang out every day. Like, we are close friends. We used to be close friends in school when we used to hang out every day. But we are in different cities now. And yes, we do talk in a while. But she was just there for me. And it just made me realize that the first thought that came into my mind after this situation is that, okay, like, this person really cares for me. There were no questions, there were no doubts. The first thought was, she really cares for me. And I missed that. I missed having those connections, because I was so used to pursuing romantic relationships that were like totally disastrous. And even though the person is showing me through their actions that they don't care, but somehow I kept clinging on to their words with the hope that maybe they will change or maybe they do care, but in the end, it was all a lie. You can lie for so long, your words can lie for so long, but your actions, they can't. Now, this might appear to be a really small thing, but what I believe is strong relationships are built in these small moments. Like big gestures are amazing, but it's these small moments, it's the how someone is showing up for you through their actions that tell you how much do they care for you. And the fact that this small action was so, like, my heart was so full of love in that moment. And to you it might seem right now like, okay, this might be an overreaction, but believe me, when you have been in relationships that just messes with your mind, like if you have been in those kind of relationships where you just want the other person to care for you and you just keep telling them the right thing to do, but they don't care enough to listen to you, and because they are not willing, because they just don't care. If you have been in that kind of situation, and especially if there has been a pattern where you have been in those kind of situation, not once, not twice, friendships, situationships, relationships, romantic relationships, relationships with family, that it has happened so many times, then this might seem like a breath of fresh air. It might seem like, oh, it's just so easy. So it might be an overreaction, but in the end, my first thought was, this is how care looks like. Especially when you have had the experiences of like, no one ever showed up for you, even if they could have. Like, it was not that difficult for them. And when this person, like, literally, she was driving, and just because she thought that I might need her, she stopped driving and listened to me and picked up the call. It did say something. Yeah, like I was very happy in that moment, and I was very happy that okay, I chose a good friend for myself. Now, this might appear to be a really small thing, but this was just an example of how she shows up for me, like, even in ways that are more important. Like, if I remember, she has always been there for me in small ways, and even when in important ways too. So, this was just an example, and in the past she has always been this reliable person, and in the present too she is still this reliable person. So that's why I think it was just so, like, in that moment I was surprised, because there has been some bad experiences and I kind of got disconnected from these connections when I was chasing after people who were clearly not there for me. But yeah, it's just so obvious that if someone cares for you, then they show up for you, like no ifs, no buts. They show up for you in whatever capacity they can. And so yeah, this was just a quick story time. Basically, I was not surprised that she showed up for me, because there was consistency in her actions, always have been. So it was not a surprise due to like, oh, did she really show up? Because I was like, okay, yeah, we should have known that, because she has been always there. But that was a surprise kind of due to the situationships that have been in the past. So if you are wondering if someone cares for you, just see their actions in the present, in the now. And if they haven't showed up for you in the past, they won't probably in the future, even if right now they say that once this happens or once this happens, then I will show up in a better way. How much can you rely on the words? Like, I don't think so people change. If like people just, they are who they are. So if they have not been for you, what are the chances that they will be? Maybe they will be, but if this has been a pattern and it's keeping you stuck and you are constantly wondering and trusting them just on their words, then I'll tell you, you don't even need your words, need their words when they really care, because their actions would be so relevant. I never, in this friendship case, it was never a time where this person told me I care for you, or I told her that I care for you, because it was so obvious through the actions. So, yeah, I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.